Have you ever wondered if you're lazy, even though you're busy every day? You wake up early, you work, you always have a reason to say, I got something done today. But at the end of the day, you still feel like you are not really getting closer to your dream. It's not because you did nothing. It's because you were tricked by the most sophisticated and dangerous mask of laziness. Laziness today isn't what it used to be. It's not about lying on the couch, scrolling through your phone, and ignoring the world. It's about being busy with things that don't matter. It's about filling your to-do list with to-do lists to avoid doing what really needs to be done. It's about spending hours preparing instead of taking action. It's about telling yourself, I'll start when I feel ready. Sound familiar? I've been there. Telling myself I need more time to plan. Telling myself I'm not in the right mood today, so I'll do it tomorrow. Telling myself I need to rest, not procrastinate. And so the days passed. Things happened, but I didn't. The problem here is not just procrastination. It is a reverie. Because when laziness is disguised as reasonable, it doesn't make you feel guilty. It doesn't alarm you. It doesn't scare you. On the contrary, it reassures you that you're on the right track, when in fact you're standing still. You see, that's the danger of the mask of laziness. It doesn't make you miserable right away. It doesn't rob you of your future overnight. It is quietly, little by little, trading the big things in your life for short-term comfort. And worse, you don't realize you're letting it happen. You may think you're living a planned life, but you're really just running around in circles on a wheel of procrastination. Excuses and self-comfort. You may think, I still have time, but time is something that never comes back. And the lazy person disguised as busy is always the one who wastes that precious asset the most. So, if you're hearing this today, I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to pull you out of your delusion, to make you realize laziness isn't always lying around. Sometimes it stands up, smiles, and says it's helping you slow down. But don't be fooled, because if you don't unmask this mask, you will never truly move forward, no matter how hard you try. And now, let me peel off each of those masks before it robs you of the life you could have lived. And today's journey will begin with something that seems small, but affects your entire life: laziness. It's not laziness that everyone can easily recognize. It's not the do-nothing type that people often label. It's laziness that is cleverly disguised with rationalizations, with false busyness, with plausible excuses like, I need a break, I'll do it when I feel like it, or I still have plenty of time. We don't question it because it doesn't make us feel guilty. But that's why it's dangerous. Because while you think you are still fine, still preparing, still planning, time has quietly passed, and the future you could have had is gradually moving away. Today, I did not come to point out that you are wrong. I came to wake you up from a long dream, the dream that millions of people are living in, the dream that they are living effectively, while in reality they are just subtly procrastinating. Together we will look the truth in the face. The truth is not easy to hear, but it needs to be heard. And if you dare to face it, you will no longer be fooled. Not by procrastination, not by emotion, not by meaningless busyness. You will begin to live clearly, powerfully, with direction, and with self-control. So stay tuned, because right now, I'm going to unmask each of these laziness masks and show you how to overcome them from the inside out. You know, laziness is not as recognizable as it used to be. We used to think of laziness as lying on the couch, idly doing nothing, but the truth is, modern laziness has become much more sophisticated. It wears clever masks, and if you're not careful enough, you'll never realize you're being manipulated. The first mask is false busyness. Have you ever been in this situation? You work all day without stopping. From checking emails to organizing your desk, from surfing social media for inspiration to catching up on news, but when night falls, you feel like nothing has really progressed? That's busy without purpose. We equate having something to do with making progress. But doing 10 unimportant things is no substitute for doing one truly meaningful thing. Being busy without direction is a subtle form of procrastination, and the most painful thing is, you think you're trying. Then came the second mask, perfectionism. I'm not good enough. I need to learn a little more before I start. Sounds reasonable, right? But behind it is the fear of failure. It is procrastination rationalized in the name of over-preparation. I once knew a friend who didn't dare to launch a YouTube channel for 2 years just because he didn't have a good camera. But when I asked, so if you had a camera, would you dare to post your first video? He was silent, because the problem is not the tool, it's the fallacy in your own mind. Perfection is a trap, and if you wait for the right time, you will never get started. Third mask, blame emotions. I'm not in the mood to work. I'm not in the mood today. I'll do it tomorrow. Sound familiar? This is a very common trap for those who depend on inspiration. But the truth is that inspiration is not the beginning of action. It is the result. Action first, inspiration will follow. You can't wait until the sky is clear and your heart is calm before you get out of bed. The people who make big changes in their lives are the ones who dare to act even when their hearts are in turmoil. Dare to start even when no one is clapping, even when you're not ready. And finally, the fourth mask, pretend effort. You read a page of a book and proudly say, I am improving myself. You write down a few lines of plan and think you are changing your life. But are you actually taking action consistently? Systematically? Disciplined? If the answer is no, then sorry. You're disguising procrastination with a little movement, enough to not feel guilty, but not enough to produce results. Many people live under the illusion that they are changing, but when they look back after 6 months, after 1 year, their lives are no different, because those efforts have no strategy, no progress, and do not go beyond the comfort zone. You see, laziness is no longer simply laziness. It has become a sophisticated art of camouflage. And if you don't remove each of those masks, you will forever live in the feeling of doing, when in reality you are standing still. So, from now on, ask yourself a simple question. What am I doing today? Is it really bringing me closer to the life I want to live? If not, then perhaps it's time to take off the mask. Here's something few people tell you. Laziness is always expensive. Not in money, but in a silent, but extremely serious, loss in your heart and in your whole life. When you procrastinate on a small action, you might think, I can just do it tomorrow. But what you don't realize is that every time you make a promise to yourself and then break it, you're drained of self-confidence. Confidence doesn't come from accomplishing great things. It comes from keeping your promises to yourself, even the smallest ones. I'll wake up early. I'll exercise. I'll start writing. Start learning. Start making changes. But then you don't. And then again. And again. Gradually, you stop trusting yourself. You know you will break your promise again. And your mind starts to default to it as a habit. You lose not only your trust, but also your respect. And that is more serious than failure. Not only that, laziness also makes you lose valuable things without you even knowing it. Golden opportunities in life. You think you have plenty of time, but the truth is, life-defining moments often come without warning. A phone call, a flash of an idea, a small window of opportunity that, if you're quick enough, ready enough, can change your entire future. But when you procrastinate, you don't realize it. You're sleeping in your comfort zone, in temporary comfort, and while you're waiting for inspiration to strike, or tomorrow to start, someone else took that opportunity for you. No sirens, no flashing red lights. Just one day you look back and ask yourself, why am I still standing here? And then, what's worse, you slowly lose control of your life. When you don't take action, you are no longer the one who charts the course. You become a follower of circumstances, other people, tastes, habits. You don't plan, you don't commit, you don't resist, and then you end up living the life that society has planned for you, not the life you really want. You will be easily replaced, easily forgotten, easily fall into the feeling of, I am a pale copy. Worse yet is when the event actually happened. You no longer have the strength to face it. Not because you are weaker than others, but because you have let laziness erode your inner strength over the years. You've lost your patience. You've lost your mental stamina. You've lost the courage to start over. And when the crisis comes, you crumble. Not because it is too big, but because you have no resistance inside anymore. Do you see that happening to yourself? If so, I want you to know one thing. You don't have to go on living like this anymore. You can regain confidence in yourself. You can begin to recognize and seize opportunities. You can proactively change direction. You can rebuild your inner strength before life forces you to use it. But that only happens if you start from today. Do you ever feel tired and don't know why? Feel useless, incompetent, and then blame yourself for not being able to do anything right? If so, you are not alone. Because behind laziness, behind those seemingly harmless procrastinations, is an underground wave that is silently gnawing at your mind every day. That is psychological devastation which very few people have the courage to look straight at. First of all, a nagging sense of guilt. Not obvious, not explosive, but always present. You know you should do it. You have a plan, a goal, even written it down. But you don't start. You procrastinate. You make excuses. And then every night when you lie down, you start to think, I could have, and then you fall asleep with regret, only to do it all over again tomorrow. The danger is this spiral does not stop by itself. The more guilty you feel, the more demotivated you become. The more demotivated you become, the more you procrastinate. And just like that, you start hate myself. Not because others judge you, but because you know you can do better, but you don't. Next is negative comparison. You watch your friends move forward. They start businesses, get promoted, develop themselves, while you are still here, still not starting anything really clear. And that makes you jealous, not in the "I want to surpass them" kind of way, but inferiority complex, feeling small, insecure, and helpless. But instead of turning that feeling into motivation, you let it paralyze you. You tell yourself, "I am not as good as anyone else. I have no chance." And at that moment, laziness has another reason to exist, because you stopped believing that effort will produce results. Finally, and most frighteningly, the consequence: habit of avoiding responsibility. When procrastination gets long enough, when you fail enough, your mind starts looking for a way out. But instead of changing, you find a way to blame. For circumstances, for age, for parents, for the government, for bad luck. You make yourself a victim of everything except yourself. You forget that every action or inaction is your choice, and you have given control of your life to fear, to procrastination, to uncontrolled feelings of frustration. At that point, you are no longer the master of your own destiny, but merely a reaction to circumstances, being carried along by the currents of life, instead of choosing your own path. Are you in one of these states? If so, don't panic or blame yourself, because the truth is, we've all been there. The difference isn't whether you were lazy, it's whether you dare to realize it, to get rid of it. Laziness is not just a behavior, it's a system, a thin layer of dust that collects in your mind every day. But if you start cleaning it up today, little by little, you'll see the light return to your inner self. And from that moment on, you are no longer a victim. You are a starter, stronger, more alert, and more in control than ever before. Awakening is not a bright moment in the dark. It does not come with a clap of thunder or a voice from the universe. It comes from something much simpler and much more difficult, which is, dare to look straight at yourself. And the first thing you need to look at is laziness. Not to judge, not to blame, but to call it by its name. Are you procrastinating? Are you busy with little things, avoiding the important things? Are you spending the morning cleaning your desk, but haven't started writing a single line on your real project? Write all of these behaviors down. Don't call it mental preparation. Don't call it, "I need a break." Call them by their proper names. Laziness in the guise of effort. Only when you call the problem by its name can you really deal with it. Next step: don't wait for inspiration. Inspiration is a fickle visitor. Action is its faithful friend. You don't need inspiration to get started. You just need to start small, but do it consistently. It could be writing a journal entry every morning, taking a 10-minute walk, reading a page of a book, drinking water on time. Any small action, as long as you do it continuously, without interruption, because every such action is a vote for the person you want to be. A determined person, a person in control, a person no longer ruled by laziness or mood swings. And if you ever fail because you lack discipline, try looking back. The environment you live in. The environment doesn't just influence, it's shaped your behavior. You live in a world of distractions, and you're more likely to drift off. Your phone is always at your fingertips. Your social media tabs are always open. Your living space is disorganized, it all creates an easy version of yourself. So, let's change your environment before demanding change from yourself. Keep your phone away while you work. Lay out your notebook before bed. Choose a TV-free corner to read. Create a space that forces you to take action. There is no other choice but to move forward. And finally, and most importantly, rebuild confidence in yourself. Confidence doesn't come naturally. It's built. Times you keep your word to yourself. It doesn't have to be big. Just make small promises. Wake up 10 minutes earlier. Don't touch your phone after 9 p.m. Write 3 lines every morning. And most importantly, keep them. Every time you keep your word, you are rebuilding the foundation of self-esteem which was once broken by laziness. And when you believe in yourself, you no longer need anyone else to motivate you. You don't need inspiration. You don't need praise. Friends are strong enough to act just because you know it's right. You see, change doesn't need a tornado. It just needs a breeze, but go in the right direction. Steadily enough. And don't stop. And if you're still wondering where to start, this moment, this video, this minute, can be the starting point. If you've made it this far in the video, I'm sure of one thing. You don't want to live in procrastination anymore. You don't want to keep repeating the days of could have, and then not doing it. You don't want to end another year with your list of goals still sitting there as it was when you first wrote it. You don't want to live another week further away from the person you could be. Because the truth is, every time you don't act, you are trading a part of your future. Not just a few hours or a day. It's the growth you could have gained. The lost opportunities. The lost relationships. The lost stronger version of yourself. All because you said, let's do it tomorrow. Every day you procrastinate is a day you lose deepen the gap between your present and your desired life. And I don't say this to make you feel guilty. I say to you, be aware of the price to pay, because an adult is someone who dares to look at the truth. Dares to stand up and start over, even though they have postponed it 1,000 times before. And to embark on this journey, you don't need inspiration. You need a true friend, someone who won't pat you on the back, but will pick you up when you feel like giving up. That friend is disciplined. It sounds dry and cold, but the truth is, discipline is the highest expression of love and respect for oneself. Because you only discipline what you think is important, and if you can't discipline yourself, it's a sign that you don't truly believe that you deserve a better life. Discipline does not mean being strict, being coercive, or living an ascetic life. It simply means you keep your word to yourself. Every day, even if I'm tired, I still do it. Even if I'm bored, I still do it. Even if no one cheers for me, still do it. Because you understand, true freedom does not come from doing whatever you want, which comes from being able to control yourself. And if you're still waiting for inspiration, waiting for energy, waiting for a perfect moment, then I have to be honest, it will not come. Actions do not follow emotions. On the contrary, positive emotions only come after you take action. You don't wait to feel motivated to exercise. You exercise, and then feel the energy return. You don't wait to feel good to work. You work, and then feel like you're living a meaningful life. So don't let your emotions fool you into temporary comfort. Don't believe that voice in your head that says, tomorrow is fine. Tomorrow is just an illusion if you don't decide today. Now it's time to take a step. No big steps. Just one small step, but decisive. Because every action today is a brick rebuild trust. It's a step towards closing the gap between you and a better version of yourself. You don't have to be Superman. You just have to be true to yourself. Act regularly, and persevere to the end. It is the only way to live a life that is not ruled by procrastination. And you deserve such a life. Let me say this, clearly and frankly. Laziness is not just a bad habit. It is a robber, but it's not like the thieves you see in the movies. It doesn't break down your door. It doesn't leave obvious traces. It doesn't take everything from you in one night. Instead, it is quiet. Very subtle. It takes away every ounce of motivation you had every day. Every little dream you had. Every precious opportunity you never realized you had. It takes away the faith you had in yourself. And then, one day, you wake up and realize you don't recognize who you are anymore. You wanted to write a book. You wanted to start a freelance business. You wanted to learn something again. Build a new life, a new habit, but then you procrastinate. Again and again. And procrastination wears a comfortable mask, so you don't see the danger. Just a little tired today. Can do it tomorrow. Wait for inspiration to come back and then start. When I'm a little more ready. The problem is it never stops at just one time. Every time you allow yourself to procrastinate, you're telling yourself, I'm not important enough to prioritize today. And when you repeat that enough times, you start to believe it's true. You live below your potential, and the scariest thing is that you get used to it. You forget what it feels like to live life to the fullest. You forget the energy of waking up with clarity and determination. You forget the joy of accomplishing something you once thought was too hard. So, if you're here, listening to this, I don't need you to change your life overnight. I'm not asking you to turn everything upside down and start over. I just invite you to do just one little thing. Take a step, but really take a step. Step out of procrastination. Step out of, I'll start later. Step out of the cycle of excuses, waiting, and emotional turmoil. Maybe it's waking up 10 minutes earlier, turning off your phone notifications, writing down 3 things you're going to accomplish today, and doing them. Small, but fierce. Because every journey begins with a single step. And if you don't take the first step today, you'll be waiting for tomorrow, a day that just might, will never come. I don't know where you are in your life, but I know one thing. You deserve a life that is clearer, more proactive, and more powerful than this. Don't let laziness, with its gentle face and reasonable voice, steal another day from you. Go. The journey has been waiting for you. And you know what you have always had the power to start. If what you just heard made you stop and think. If there was a line in this video that made your heart flutter. Or if you simply saw yourself in what I shared. So, don't leave without a sign. Please click to let me know you are here. And you are with me till the end. Let's subscribe to the channel so as not to miss the next profound content, because each video here is not just knowledge, but a true companion on the journey you are on. And if you feel this video can help someone who is procrastinating, lost, or needs a little push to get started again, share it. Who knows? You might be the one to help wake someone up from the sleep called tomorrow. Thank you for listening. We will meet again. a stronger, clearer, and more committed version of you.